Hi guys, and welcome to Debbie's Rusty Brush. Today we're going to do another 6x6 by 1.5 inch quick little painting of a sheep, and it's going to be a Christmas sheep with a wreath around its neck, and just in this rustic little style that I have really been enjoying recently. So we are going to do this today. I did do this live on my Facebook channel, and so if you want to see the full length, it will be over there at Debbie's Rusty Brush over on Facebook, and otherwise I'm going to speed it up here. I will do a voiceover so that you get to know everything that I'm doing, but you just don't have to sit and watch for 45 minutes that it took us to do this. I'll do it in 10 to 15 minutes with the sped up version. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. I'd be glad to answer what I can. If you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share with your friends. All of that helps out a great deal. And we are going to jump on over and get started on this cute little sheep. All right, thanks guys. All right, I have just got some gray here. I mixed this gray with white and black, and so I don't even have a name for you. I'm just going to cover the back. Now, I do go through and do the thick sides after the video, but I didn't do them during the video just to save time on the drying process. So I just take a palette knife and smear it all over. Now I've got Apothecary. It is a very light green, and I'm just adding in here and there to add some visual interest and some variation in the colors. And now I've got Mint Chip, and I'm going to go through and do the same thing with that, just again to give some visual interest and not have just a flat gray background. Okay, so we're just going to dry it a little bit with our hair dryer. When I use this chalk paint, it doesn't dry quite as fast as acrylic, and I need it to not be necessarily fully dry, but to at least be hard enough that I can add to the top without blending. Now we're just going to add the sheep's face, and as you can tell, it's just kind of a V with ears, and then you fill it in. And then if you want it bigger, go ahead and make it bigger. So start with a little smaller than you think you might need, and then you can add to it. Where I was just putting one sheep on this canvas, I could go a bit bigger. So I go ahead and make it bigger, add the ears just a touch bigger as well. Okay, and so now we're just going to take some white and dab it on there in the shape of the body. I have an old brush that is pretty well seen its last days, but I keep it around because it works great for this. It adds a lot of texture for the wool of these sheep, and I just kind of dab it in like I'm stenciling, and it gives me a lot of texture. Now I'm going to go through and do the top of the sheep's head, give him a little bit of hair up there with his wool, and then go ahead and just touch up on the body and make sure that I have a very good base and that everything is covered and has plenty of texture. Okay, and now we're going to just touch up the face around where I dabbed the white paint so that it doesn't have any over in that. And then once I get that all cleaned up, I'm going to take some white and add in there just to have an area where the sunlight will hit, so it's got a little more gray. I am just blending this on the canvas. I don't want it as gray as the background, but I do want it to have a little bit of light difference where the sun is catching. And then I'm going to take and also add in a bit of gray right in the chest area
And now we're just taking some black and adding in the legs. All right, so just doing a bit of fussing here and making sure that I've got it the way I want it before I move on to the next step. Okay, so now I'm taking a bit of green. Doesn't matter what color of green you use. I believe I've got aviary right now, and I'm just going to add grass into the bottom here to ground our little sheep so he's not floating in midair. Sorry, I had to take a moment and let the dog in. She was wanting to come in. And so just going to finish up some grass. And now I like to do this little black border around it to give it that kind of antiqued feel. So I've just got some black and my putty knife, and I'm just kind of scooching it around all the edges until it looks good to me. There's no rhyme nor reason to it. All right, so we're just going to do a quick dry to make sure everything has a solid base to it. And now we're going to start in on our wreath for our sheep. And basically I just use several colors of green, and I'm at this point starting with Monet's Garden and getting in the base layers for this wreath. You don't need to fill it all in, just put little dabs like leaves throughout. And then we'll go into, I believe that this was aviary, my next darkest green, and I'm putting in just some areas that have that contrast. And then we're going to move on to Salty Kiss. So any greens that you've got, you just want a variation of colors so that it looks like it was actually made from different greeneries. And here we're adding in, I believe I went back to Monet's Garden to add in just a little bit more, peeking through those lighter things that I put up there. All right, so now we are going to put in a bow on our wreath with some Carnival Red. And we're just going to do a basic, simple bow and get our little tails down there and get that done. And now we're going to be adding in some more green with the palette knife, and we're just going to put little stabs of it here and there, like little vines that are growing around or have been woven in and out. And so we just want to build our wreath up to where it looks like an actual wreath. And this is my lightest shade of, nope, that is not my green. That is, I went with cherry picked to add a base in for my berries, so that we had a couple of different shades and colors. Now I'm going in with the Carnival Red right on top of where I put the cherry picked to add in the lighter color to those berries. And then we're going to go in with just a tiny touch of our petticoat pink to add a highlight on those berries. Okay, and now we're just going to do a little fussing. I'm going to add in a different color along the bottom of that grass so that we have a little variation there.
All right, guys, that is it for today. This is what we created, and if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. If you want to see the full live video over on Facebook is where I have that. I did it live, and so it was about 45 minutes over there. I do live paintings over there every Tuesday morning at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you want to see those, sometimes I don't finish them on those, depending upon what they are. these little 6x6s I can get done. And so if it's a 6x6 canvas, you can hop on over, watch the full thing over there. And if you want to see the longer version of it. All right, so I am going to let you guys go now. Again, if you have not subscribed to this channel, share it with your friends. It really helps me out. And I appreciate you stopping in and spending some time with me today. All right,